Good morning, everyone. I'm Linda with Pinky Mouse Cakes, Cookies, and Candy, and I'm late getting on. I didn't make an event because I really didn't think I'd be ready to get on at 10, and I wasn't, so I'm glad I didn't. So I had to get my stuff together. So thank y'all for joining me, and hopefully y'all will enjoy this little video here. And I'm going to be making a 4th of July cake. In the next few days. I'll do some of it live on air. Got my ice cold Sprite. That's so good. So I have to do this cake. All cake decorators know that you have to do cakes in parts. So I wanted to go ahead and make these decorations to go around the side, and those can dry, and then they'll be ready to go, because I'm making, not making the cake today. I'm going to be making it on different days, probably before the weekend's out. Hopefully I'll have all 3 layers made. It's going to be a 3-layer cake, a 10-inch cake. It's going to be a big cake, and I'm going to have it's going to have a patriotic theme to it. So, and it will be 3 different layers, different flavors. So I hope y'all will watch me when I make that, because I'm going to be doing some things that I haven't done before. So what I'm going to be doing today is, and I think Mary's on the other end. I told her I was going live, but I hope she wasn't sitting there waiting on me, because I just, you need this little thing, you need that little thing, and they're not all in the same place. So I had to go on a scavenger hunt this morning to find my little cutouts. I usually keep my little bitty tiny cutouts in a certain place, and Miss Linda didn't put them back where they were supposed to be. He's going to get me, but I'm going to tell y'all what Mike said. He said, tell y'all hello, Merry Christmas. You're crazy, babe. Anyway, not Christmas, we know that. But I've got my fondant here, and this is what I've been using. This new box that I bought. It's real sticky. You can tell it's real sticky. I'm just going to tear off a piece of it and wrap this back up. Anytime you're working with fondant, the most important thing is you want to keep it covered. You don't want to leave it out even for 5 minutes. It'll start to dry out. So I wrap mine and then put it in a bag, and I need to get a plastic wrap over here so I can wrap this too. And I'm going to color this fondant blue, and I don't want to get this all over my hands because it's oil-based. It's not water-based, and oil-based, it's a little bit harder to get off your hands. So I'm going to be using gloves. People that are artists or that have different talents, a lot of people can cut these out free-handed, and I'm not that kind of an artist. Well, I'm not an artist at all, but I do like to, fool around with the cake stuff. So I use cutouts. And I have all different shapes and sizes. And I'm going to be using my little oil-based food coloring gel. These are little tiny, tiny bottles. And I don't know if I'm going to use the whole thing or not. And I'll find out how. I've got 3 different shades of blue here. This is the darkest. I think I'm going to use the dark one because I want this to be pretty dark. And dark colors are hard to color. They might not be as dark or as bright as you want them. So, excuse me for just a minute here. We had a lot more heavy rain last night. I mean, literally pouring down rain. I thought it was gonna blow us away there for a little while. It was raining so hard, blowing. Now this is a 0.25 ounce, is 6, is it milliliter? And this is my first time to use this, so I don't know if, okay, there we go. Oh, let me turn this down. Now y'all are not going to see me. You're going to see what I'm doing. I'm going to start with about 3 drops. And I'm going to see what this does. And then we'll go from there. Where'd my little lid go? No, there it is. And I'm not using my mic because I didn't want to have to deal with that today. Not knowing if it was going to work or not. I've got my cornstarch here too. I'm going to need that. Now you can use a sifter. You don't have to have one of these little meat containers, but because I've used this, done it like this so much, it's easier for me to have it in a sifter and not have to get a container out every time. Oh yeah, that looks like that's going to be a nice intense blue. I'm probably going to have to put some more in it because I want it to be a real bright blue. And I'm not going to make these super thin because I want it to almost have like a 3D effect on it. So I don't want them thin like I was doing, like I would do a petal of a flower. Let's do 3 more drops. The bottle's kind of hard to squeeze. Now you can buy fondant that's pre-colored. Most of the time when you do, it might not be exactly the shade that you want it, and that's where these gels come in handy, where you can actually color it. You can tell it's starting to get kind of a baby blue to it. You have to work with it. It's a little harder to work with gloves on, but I just don't want this coloring all over my hands, my fingernails. So are y'all going to do anything special for the 4th? Do y'all do a 4th of July cake? And the reason I'm asking is because I wanna, if you are interested in making one on the order that I'm making, I want to give you a supply list so you'll know what you need in case you don't have these things in your pantry. You know, a lot of times you keep things that you use all the time, but you don't necessarily keep something that you don't use. And you can use the old-timey liquid gels, but they just don't work as good as these gel colors do. I'm going to put 5 dots of colored in this. You can tell, like I said, if this was a light color, I wouldn't be having to keep adding coloring in it, but because I want this dark, you have to keep adding coloring to get it the shade you want it. And this right here is kind of what I'm going for. This is the glitter that it's called Galaxy Dust that I'm going to use. Can y'all see that? Yeah. It's a little tub of real glittery blue. And that's what I'm, says it's royal blue, but that's kind of the color. And I may not get it completely that color because the glitter will make it darker, but I want to get it as close to that color as I can. And you just play with it back and forth, trying to get as much of the color distributed as possible. Now, if I would have used a smaller portion of fondant, it would have been coloring quicker, because the smaller fondant and the more drops you're going to be using, you'll use it won't take as much because you're not using as much fondant, is what I'm trying to say. And the color does darken just a little bit after it sets too, so keep that in mind. And if you don't want to, you know, you don't have to go spend money on a bunch of fancy stuff. There's way to work around these colors. Now I am, on my cake, I am going to make the layers from scratch. But if you wanted to buy, I know you can buy red velvet, and you can buy white. I'm not sure if you can buy blue or not, but I can tell you how to do it. But I'm gonna make mine from scratch, and I think I told y'all I'm making. Yeah, I did. I told y'all I'm making a 10-inch cake. Okay, so that's pretty close. Now I'm gonna only work with about half of this because I'm going to, I want to make some letters too, and then this part of the cake will be done. And because it doesn't, this will, you know, this is not going to hurt to be made ahead of time. In fact, when you make anything fondant, you should make it ahead of time if at all possible, because you need time for it to dry and set. I'm just going to use my little small fondant rolling pin. And this here, I measured the inches around this pan, and I'm going to do a triple border on this cake on the bottom and the top. And I've got some red, white, and blue sprinkles. I don't want to overdo it. I don't know if I'll use the sprinkles or not, but what I really want to do is put 50 stars around here. I may not can get 50 because I measured it and it seemed like I probably can get 40, but I may have to kind of alternate them so I wind up with 50, because that's what I want on the cake is 50, and that's what I'm going for. And for that reason, I'm choosing this small star instead of this big one, because there's no way this is going to fit in. Besides, I think that will be too big on here anyway. I think that'll be way too big, so I'm going to use the tiny one, and I think this will work better. So when you're rolling out to have less scraps, it's kind of like when you're cutting out cookies. You want to get as close to the edge as you can. And I did the wrong end of that, and I knew I did. I'm sure y'all know it, but every cookie cutter or cutout has, to get something else to get this out with. Has two sides, and you want the sharp side to do your cutting. I'm just going to kind of gently push that out. It doesn't matter if it makes a mark on it, because you can put it on the other side. Now I'm just going to lay these aside here. I actually should put them on a plate, and that way I don't have to be picking them up like multiple times. A lot of people around here on the 4th, they'll spend it at the lake. You know, a lot of people have lake houses, and they'll have their family and friends over and have a big barbecue, cook out, and always have watermelon. I'm going to have to cut this little tiny piece out here. I have an X-Acto knife that I use for this, but I didn't get one out, so I'll just take it out like that. Now, if you'll notice this right here, these are really handy, and these come in a lot of different brands, but they're super, super thin, and they're really good to pick up little things like this. I hope my hand is not in the way and that y'all can see this. I really wanted to get this where y'all could see what I was doing. I have to punch this out every time. I'm going to put a little cornstarch on this and see if that might help to where I don't have to use that little, nope, still not going to work. Now don't worry about that. You can brush that off. And you can brush that off with like a little, like if you decorate cakes, you're going to have some little brushes. If you don't, you can brush it off with a pastry brush or just a real light brush of a paper towel would work. I'm going to just do these here because I want to color some fondant red and white. So we'll put some lettering also. Now, I said try to get as close to the edge as you could, but I'm not going all the way to the edge because it is a little thinner on the edge. And so I came in just a little bit for that reason. Now, again, if you don't have a star cutout or any other cutout, like if you wanted to use a round, or you can make you a little pattern, get some, like some heavier paper, and you can use, to me, you can always find something around the house to use. Like, y'all have heard me say I made that tooth with the Santa hat cut out. I used one cookie cutter and then I drew a tooth. And then I made me a template and attached it to it. And that way when I did the cutout, then I just used an X-Acto knife and went around it and cut it out. And y'all can do something like that. Would be very cost effective if you didn't want to go out and buy some of these small cutouts. You can always make your own. And I haven't counted these, so I'll have to count them in a minute and see how many I've got. Let's see, did that one mess up? That one might have messed up a little bit. Okay, let's see. 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 20. Oh, I can't believe it. I got exactly 25. Now, again, if you don't want to do a layered cake, you could do this in a sheet cake. And it'd be very easy to decorate in a sheet cake. And actually, you would have, if you use like a 9 by 13 or 15 by 18, whatever baking sheet you have that you cooked it on, you'd have more surface space to put your stars and your decorations. I have some firework templates, but I opted to go another route, and I'm going to do a surprise reveal on what I'm putting on top, and I won't do that until the cake actually gets made. And 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. But there's just so many ways. I mean, you can look on Etsy, or you can look on Pinterest. Those didn't turn out too good, so I'm going to do them over. You could design your own pattern. A lot of times I like to do that. People used to, they would order a cake, and if they didn't have a design in mind, I'd ask them, could I make my own design? And I always liked it when I had, when I was able to do that, because sometimes you can come up with something really pretty, just, you know, just kind of following your own imagination. 15, so I think I need about 10 more. I'll make a few extra, just in case. There was one that I didn't like the way it looked too well. And again, I colored too much fondant. I could have colored half this and it would have been enough. But if you're working with color and fondant, always err on the caution of making more than you need, because it's going to be really difficult, or it could be difficult, to replicate the same shade that you have to start with. So I would definitely say to make more than you need rather than making less. Now I'm going to have to re-roll this, because I just need just a few more. I don't want to put this up and then one of them I don't like the way it looks, and I wind up not having enough and then me having to go back. So always make a few extra just in case. I'm probably going to make about 10 or 12 extra. That's probably what I'm going to do. Now that seems like they're coming out better than they did to start with. Now these may seem little, and they are little, but because I want so many on there, I want them to be small. Okay. That's 5 extra here. You already messed that one up. And this is just a little deli sheet that I've got on this plate here. You can use wax paper, parchment paper, anything you want to use to put. I wouldn't use saran wrap because that might stick, but a wax paper or parchment paper would do good. Okay, this just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna make just a few more extra ones. These are a little thicker on this end. These didn't come out real good. Now I'm going to switch. Oh, I do need some more of this blue. I forgot I need some more of this blue because I'm going to do some lettering. Now make sure that these are straight because they're going to dry however you have them on here. And if they're not flat on here, they're going to dry. I'm going to have to wait till I get my gloves out. They'll dry kind of slanted or crooked. So make sure they're all even. These are on top of each other and I don't want that. You can see they're sticky and they will stick to each other. I can't work very good with these gloves on. Okay, I think we're good with that. Now, what I've got here, and you can get these in any craft store. I'm sure I got these at Hobby Lobby. You can probably get them from Amazon too, but this is a set of little mini metal letters, and these can be real tricky to get out because you'll see the O has got that separate thing there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put God Bless the USA, and I'm going to alternate between colors. So there's G-O-D, and then bless. Now this is going to be backward for y'all, I understand that. E, and then I'll use the S twice, and then T-H-E, and then there's my E, and then I need a toothpick to get this out. U-S-A. Let me grab a toothpick for this. Okay, so let's see. 3, 8, 11, 15. So I can do 5 of each color. I've got 15 letters. So I'm probably going to go ahead and do the some in white, even though the buttercream is going to be white. I'll put some sparkly glitter on them, on the white. Probably put it on all of the letters, but and that way, hopefully, she'll show up on the. And again, I want this to be raised, so I'm rolling this a little thicker than the stars. Okay, and I guess I'll start with blue. I need my little tiny spatula is what I need for this. Now don't worry about those little holes in it, because I'm gonna cover that with glitter. And I'm gonna put some more cornstarch on here. See if I can make this a little bit better. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a set in all the colors, and then if I want to mix them, I can do like red, white, blue, and then I might decide to do one word in red, one word in blue, and one word in white. I'm not real sure how I'll do that. You start doing something and you realize you need something else. different tools for different things. But you know, sometimes you just have to go till you find what you need. I'll just use my little scribe tool here. So I don't know if y'all heard what I said or not, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to, depending on what I think, my thinking was to make one color red, you know, alternate the colors, blue, white, red, white, and blue. Give me your thoughts on that. Tell me what you think about it. Instead of doing each word, because if I do, it's not going to be an even amount. So I'm probably going to do a red, white, and blue. But I want to have an option to do what I want. You know, women change our minds. That's how we do. We change our minds. So I want to make sure that I can fix it how I want to fix it. Now this whole set of little miniature letters, I don't know what they cost. Maybe, I don't know, maybe $10. I've had them for so long I'd almost be afraid to say what they cost. I've got about 3 different, maybe 4 different sizes of letters, the whole alphabet and numbers. Now that didn't work too good, so I don't like that one. I'll have to redo that one. Now, working with these little letters takes a lot of patience. And it might not be somebody's thing, but I just love doing these little tiny cutouts. I think they're so pretty. I guess I should have colored all of my red fondant too when I was right after I did my blue, but I was just anxious to get started. I'm probably going to redo that bee, but I'll leave it for now. I don't want to keep y'all on here forever. And again, don't worry about the little holes, because that's going to be covered up with the glitter. And if I alternate these, my first letter will be red, because I would start with red, white, and blue. So if y'all plan to make, even if it's not this cake that y'all are gonna make, if y'all plan to make a celebratory USA cake to celebrate the 250th anniversary and the 4th of July, let me know in the comments if y'all are going to make one. And maybe you wouldn't take all of my ideas, but you might take some of them and do your own version, because most people that bake and cook, they do their own thing. They, you know, you get bits of information here and bits there, and it's not, you might not use everything, but you might use some of the tips that or suggestions that I have. Okay, I'll do a T. And also let me know if this helped by me putting this camera closer to the board to where y'all could see it better. Let me know about that if you don't mind. it helps, the feedback helps, especially if I ordered this stand especially so y'all could see what I was doing better, and you would not believe how many stands that I ordered. Some of them don't last very long, they break, and not any of them are cheap. But I want the videos to be quality. Mary and I both do. So, we try to do, and it doesn't always work out that way. Lord knows it doesn't. It seems like some days I feel like I'm sabotaged right and left. Not really. I don't mean to sound paranoid, but sometimes you do get real disheartened when you try so hard to do a video and then the volume doesn't work, or this happens or that happens. So, it's kind of irritating when that happens. Okay. Maybe another S. And then that little pick out of here. I'll probably have to make another A too, but that'll do for now. Then I'm going to do an exclamation point. I don't like the way that turned out either. I'll have to make another one of those. That looks a little bit better. Okay, so there this is in the blue. And then I need another A. See if I can do an A without messing it up. I think it's really hot in different parts of the world. I know it's extremely hot in Ireland right now. I don't think that one turned out any better than the other one did, so I'll have to work on the A. I don't like the way that turned out. But I say we're used to it. We are used to it here in the USA, but it still doesn't mean that it's not something that affects people that have respiratory problems, especially the elderly. And when I say that, I don't say that lightly. I know basically number-wise I'm considered an elderly person, even though I don't basically consider myself elderly. I know in reality I am. Okay, let's just do one of these with a little bit of glitter and see. I think I'm going to have to probably have to do a little vanilla to mix me up a little bit of something so it'll stay on there. Or brush it lightly. You can brush it lightly with water also to kind of use as a glue. Just kind of gives it a little three-dimensional look to it. And you can get this edible glitter dust. This is a little different than, I'm not sure that I've ever seen this in the store, but I know that you can order it from Amazon. But you can tell the difference between one that's got glitter on it and one that doesn't, just gives it a little bit more pizzazz to it. All right, let's get this out of the way, and then I'm going to color just a little bit of red, just to check this red out. And then, you see all this that I had left. I didn't need near as much as, and I know that. I know it doesn't take much you can see the difference in that. It's, of course, this has got a little bit of cornstarch in it, but it's definitely a different shade. So I'm just going to take just a portion of what I did here and color some red. And let's see how that goes. And you can take any kind of little thin spatula to pick these up. Just make sure that it's real thin, because it won't grab a hold of it if it's not. It's hot in here. And it's not that the air conditioner's on, it is, but it's still hot. I need to light that up. I don't want that in with the red. Now, another thing you could do, you could actually work your glitter in with the fondant as you color it. You could do that. So it would have even a little bit more glitter to it. There's just so many ways that you can do this. I'm just going to do this a little bit. Let's see, that's the blue. I don't need the blue. I need the red. Now, they also say to make the color a little bit more intense, you can put just a tiny bit of black or purple to make, you know, if you're making dark colors like reds or bright blues, or even though that's not super bright there, you can put a little bit of black in it, and it kind of helps darken it. I'm going to try to do a pretty good bit. I don't want it to be pink. I want it to be a real red. And you can see it's red, but it's not red. It's more like a dark pink. I see that's just not dark enough to suit me yet. So I'm doing very big drops there. Now, because this is, even though it's gel, it's liquid. So that's going to change the texture of your fondant. So you may have to keep it from getting sticky, you may have to keep adding just a pinch of cornstarch to it, so it doesn't stick when you cut your letters out. You know, you have a vision in your head, and it doesn't always work the way your vision is, but I'm going to keep working with this until I get it a little bit darker, just so you can definitely tell that you were going for the red, white, and blue. Whoops. Now the bottles of this food gel that you get in Hobby Lobby or Michael's, it's going to be bigger bottles than this. And I've got bottles over there. But I wanted to do fresh instead of using some that I had that were already open. So I ordered this so it would be new bottles. Now, would y'all keep going and make it redder, or would you stop and do it like this, like the red, white, and blue? Maybe I'll just tear a little tiny piece off here, I tore it about in half. I've never seen bottles this tiny before. I've never bought any color gel bottles that were that little, and I was real surprised when I got them because I was expecting them to be bigger. So if you were doing a lot, you would need more than one box of this. Now see, that's getting a little bit more intense. You can tell it's definitely getting darker. I think I'll go ahead and stop and roll a little bit. I'll put this in some plastic. Don't want it to dry out. Now remember, if you're wanting it to stand up and kind of have a 3D effect to your cake, you want to make sure that you roll your fondant just a tiny bit thicker than you would, well, a good bit thicker than you would a rose petal or something. It seems like this is coming out a little better. Maybe because the little cutters have more cornstarch on them. Now, I will try my best to look at these comments after, because I want to know if there's enough people that said they're going to make a patriotic cake of some form. I'll put a list on here if y'all want to know what to get. And again, you know, you don't have to go out and buy a lot of stuff. You can use something, or you can freehand and make your own templates. But and you wouldn't have to do letters. You could do stars and, you know, like a wave you could do. Let's see. I was going to say you could do hearts. I don't really think I would do hearts because I don't know if I would like that for the patriotic cake or not. But you definitely could do like a wave or a stripe. And a star, I think, would be pretty easy to freehand to make your pattern, especially if you're artistic. And when you're punching your little letters out, just don't put a lot of pressure on them. You know, just kind of be real gentle when you're pressing them out, and the marks won't go down real heavy on your little letters. And if you want to get these real shiny, there's a way to do that too. Most cake decorators or bakers do it after the cake is put together, and they do it as the last minute. But you can do like two different ways to make it shiny, the fondant. You can do like a clear vanilla and brush on them with a little paintbrush. You can steam it. If you have a steamer that you steam clothes with, you can use one of those. So there's more than one way to do it to make it look real shiny and finished. Kind of give it a finished look. Yeah, it seems like this red is cutting out better than the blue. Oops. This way I can pick and choose which letters I want to use by me cutting them all out. So I'm going to go ahead and raise this up, and I'll check the comments later on when I rest. That's what I do when I'm resting. I look at these comments. So if you plan to make one, let me know so I can do a list. If you have any tips or any suggestions, you know, we don't ever mind suggestions and everything. We know that we don't know everything about baking or cooking. I'm certainly not a professional, but I've been doing this a very long time, and I have learned a lot through trial and error. And I've learned a lot from other people too. But let me know, and you know, if you have any negative things, you can keep them to yourself. We always have somebody, but anyway, that's to be expected. So thanks again for watching, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Stay cool and stay hydrated. If you get out, or if you have somebody working out in this weather, if you have pets outside, make sure that they have plenty of cool water and a cool, shady place to get, because this heat is a killer. I mean, we have been under an intense heat advisory for days here, and it's going to go on into next week too. So make sure that you keep that in mind when you're out. If you have elderly neighbors, you know, check on them, even if it's just a text or a phone call or something. Check on them, and I will see y'all again soon. And I'm not sure when I'll make the first layer of the cake, but I am going to be making something that I've never made to put in the cake to help color it. So be sure to watch if you want to see how I'm going to try to color some of these layers naturally instead of adding the coloring to the batter. So thanks again. Have a wonderful day. Be sure to be kind and always count your blessings. And thank you so much.